Of all the racing games to come out of the 16-bit era, Road Rash was always one of my favorites. It mixed the chaos of an arcade racer with the violence of a fighting game, and I was there for it. You know, I've been thinking a lot about Road Rash lately, which made me wonder what Electronic Gaming Monthly thought of this combative series. What was their favorite game? Now, in case you're wondering, EGM reviewed a total of 7 Road Rash games between 1993 and 2000. That covers a good chunk of games and ports right up to the final entry in the series, Jailbreak. Believe it or not, one of the games the magazine didn't review is the 1991 original, so what I decided to do was include the review and score from Megaplay, EGM's sister magazine that shared a lot of the same editorial, staff, and scoring system. And to make things a little bit more fun, we're also going to toss in the similar but completely unconnected one-off, Skitchin. What we're going to do today is count down the best and worst Road Rash games using Electronic Gaming Monthly's own words and scores. There's no editorializing here, we're just going to focus on what the critics said back when these games first came out. So go and grab that chain and join a bike club, because you're going to need all the help you can get when EGM ranks Road Rash. Up first at number 9, we have Road Rash 64 on the Nintendo 64. It's not terribly exciting, and it's very grainy and blurry. Nothing that Road Rash 64 possesses will excite you. Not even the 4-player mode can save this game's face. All the multiplayer modes are boring because you don't see, and therefore don't fight, your human opponents that often, even on tracks designed for maximum confrontation. The plain, default race mode is the most fun, and even that isn't anything to write home about. Number 8, Skitchin on the Genesis. Skitchin has a theme similar to Road Rash as you fight and battle at high speeds. The graphics are nice, and the game has a ton of options, like the nice 2-player mode, but play it once and you get the idea. Number 7, Road Rash on the PlayStation. After playing Road Rash, I couldn't help but think, been there, done that. Don't get me wrong, the game's graphics and video are smoother and more refined compared to the 3DO predecessor. Otherwise, the game's the same. The game rocked years ago, but it looks average compared to today's racing games. Number 6, Road Rash Jailbreak on the PlayStation. This game tries to freshen up the old Road Rash formula a bit with special rescue stages and pursuit modes. Trouble is, Jailbreak feels like last year's model, and it still emphasizes racing more than the hand-to-helmet combat. It's the multiplayer editions that'll make you want to hop aboard for another ride. The co-op sidecar mode is hilarious, especially when you knock your teammate off the bike. Test drive this thing before you buy it. Number 5. Road Rash 3D on the PlayStation. Road Rash 3D packs nearly everything that I loved about the classic series. High speed, cool courses, nasty spills, and intense combat, although fighting's not as crucial as before. The graphics, while not up to Gran Turismo standards, are adequately fast. Some of the series' in-your-face personality is missing, cinemas are particularly weak, and you're now placed on the bike automatically after a crash. I prefer the old run-to-your-bike routine. Number 4, Road Rash 2 on the Genesis. I loved the original, which means that I love the sequel as well, since the game is virtually the same. Road Rash 2 serves up 5 new landscapes to motor across, while the base game remains almost identical. The 2-player mode is a good draw, but execution falls short in the same way that Sonic 2 did. Still good, but I had hoped for more. Number 3, Road Rash on the Game Boy Color. Like most Game Boy versions of big-name games, I had my doubts about Road Rash. I figured it'd be another watered-down kids game. I was wrong. While Road Rash on the Game Boy isn't quite as robust as recent installments on home systems, it does a great job of providing the experience in handheld form. In fact, it reminds me of the Genesis version of Road Rash. The scaling effect on the tracks is the game's most impressive feature. You have to see it to believe it. Also, the control is surprisingly solid for being digital. The courses aren't terribly different, however, and the races do get boring after a while. Of course, you could always bust out a link cable and go for some two-player fun. Number 2, Road Rash on the 3DO. The coolest music in gaming makes this game rule. This game is a step above the first 2 Road Rash titles on the Genesis, with awesome graphics and fantastic playability. I couldn't put the controller down. If there were more games out on the 3DO that were this much fun, they'd have sold 1 million units. And finally, at number 1, we have Road Rash on the Genesis. Electronic Arts has done a superb job with the first-person graphics and gameplay in Road Rash, which are the best I've seen in a Genesis driver. The technique and play structure is also a hit. Great scrolling and upbeat music, in addition to bone-crushing accidents, makes this an enjoyable cart to play. Hey, thanks for watching me counting down the best and worst Road Rash games. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post a new episode just like this almost every week. We've covered Burnout, Gran Turismo, Ridge Racer, Tekken, Mario, Sonic, Breath of Fire, Final Fantasy, Ninja Gaiden, and literally dozens more. We have more than 50 episodes of EGM Ranks in the playlist, so go and give that a binge. Now, here's the question I have for you. Should Electronic Arts bring back Road Rash? And what would you want to see from the return? Let me see your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back later this week with a review of Golf vs. Zombies and Super Adventure Hand. Yes, those are real games. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.